Welcome to Recourse Coaching. Today we're going to talk about hallucinations and delusions in people with dementia and a few tips on how you can handle them.
Where's my watch?
It's in your bedroom.
You keep stealing it.
I don't keep stealing your watch. It's
Yes,
in your
you
bedroom.
do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you
I'm going to
do.
go get it for you. Hallucinations are basically a sensory perception issue. So they're going to involve sight, taste, smell, and sound. So people hearing things that aren't there, seeing things that aren't there, feeling things that are not there. So one of the common ones is feeling bugs on them. Another one is hearing sounds that other people don't hear, maybe like a dog barking or someone calling for them. Now, a delusion is a false belief despite information to the contrary. So this is something like someone believes that you keep stealing all their jewelry, or there's somebody watching them from outside the door, or that someone has stolen all of their money. The brain deficits that happen with dementia may be different depending on different forms. Hallucinations are definitely more prominent in Lewy body dementia, which is dementia with Parkinson's symptoms. However, any form of dementia could have hallucinations or delusions. So when we are looking at why these things happen, we don't say it's just because of dementia. We kind of want to look at what's going on around them. So hallucinations that are sensory perception problems very often are caused by something in the environment. Maybe they actually are hearing some sort of sound and their brain is then interpreting that as someone calling their name. A lot of times somebody might be eating, they're using a patterned placemat, so a placemat that has like flowers or something on it, and people perceive the flowers as bugs. So one of the first things that we want to do is kind of look at the environment, and is there anything that is triggering a sensory perception that their brain is not interpreting correctly? And if there is, we can modify for those things. Like with my mom, she thought that there were people in the house. It was really a reflection of us in the house at night because we had these really big bay windows in the back. And so what we did is just put curtains over those in the evening so that she doesn't see the reflection of us and then doesn't have the hallucination that there's somebody in the home. So in delusions, those are a little bit harder sometimes to suss out why it might be happening. Our ability to take an information and make a decision about it, which is then a belief, can become impaired in dementia because somebody might not have as much access to their frontal lobe and the reasoning centers of their brain. This could be for a couple different reasons. That could happen more often because of certain types of dementia, or because a lot of times people with dementia, their amygdala is kind of firing all the time. So they're in a very constant state of fear, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so when the amygdala is firing all the time, the brain kind of tries to conserve energy and it wants to keep you safe first. So it kind of cuts down its access to the reasoning centers of your brain. So people have less of an ability to reason through that something is not actually happening. So for an example, let's say that somebody thinks that I keep stealing their jewelry. I could show them their jewelry and show them all this proof that I didn't steal it, and they may still believe that I stole it. So your brain stores memory in different areas of the brain. So emotional memory is in one area, memory of an actual event, though, is in a different area. And so your brain has to pull from both of those areas in order to link this specific event memory with this specific emotion, and then they come together. And then you have a belief about that event. So somebody may be having a hard time seeing any proof that we give them as true and help them change their belief because they're not able to pull from the different parts of the memory and then have those basically come together to make a new belief. And so when we are helping somebody who's having delusions, some of the things that we might want to do, first of all, is don't deny it. So if someone accuses me of stealing something, I probably wouldn't say, yeah, I stole it, because then that's going to trigger the fear center more. And even in a person with dementia, we remember fear better than we remember other things. So what I could say is, I'd be really upset if somebody stole something from me. I'm going to go get your watch for you. Right? So I didn't deny what they're experiencing because also denial of what they're experiencing is never going to help. It's just going to end up in probably aggression. So I validate how they're feeling, and then I go get the thing that they want. Now, you could be dealing with something where you can't go get the thing that they want or resolve that or anything like that. You always want to go with the validation in some form first, because in general, that makes people feel better, calms the amygdala. People don't feel as scared anymore. And so then you might be able to direct them to doing a different activity with you. So let's take the example of that they think that somebody's watching them from across the room somewhere. You could say, I wouldn't want somebody watching me either. That must be really scary. Why don't we go into another room and let's go read a book together? So things in the environment and the way the environment is set up can contribute to delusions. So if there are items that somebody thinks about a lot and is always afraid are stolen or gone, some of the supports that we put in is a very specific spot where we keep those things. It needs to have some color coding with it. You need to go through a process to help them know where those are so that they start to know, I'm always scared about my watch. Well, this is where I go to look for my watch. You can also hang some of the things that are super important to them up on a wall in a place that they're going to see it all the time. The other thing is sometimes using a memory book in this capacity is really helpful. You could have all their jewelry, and then you also have the memory book of every item that they have. Because sometimes what will happen is if somebody's like, you stole my jewelry or you stole my watch, and then you bring it to them, they think that, well, I had 6 pieces of jewelry, not 5. And you're like, no, you only had 5. Look, these are all your 5. And then you get into an argument that way. But if you could make kind of like a memory book about the jewelry that they have, and then you're matching up the jewelry that's on the tray to the book, that can be really helpful. It's also a really good just activity to do together, because things like that also convey emotion, and you could even in the memory book write like one line about this piece of jewelry, where they got it from. So then you can start to build relationship and rapport with the person, even if it's your own family member, which helps decrease that fear trigger and this idea that you've done something that's harmful to them, and they start to feel safer with you. So there's lots of different ways that we can try and work within these things by changing how we interact with somebody, how we talk to them, how the environment is structured, in order to really help them function better, even if they are struggling with hallucinations and delusions. Please remember that the brain is always making these things happen for a valid reason to their brain. So arguing about whether things are real or not is not a good idea, because to the brain, it is real. It's really harmful to deny somebody's reality. Not only just emotionally harmful, but it's going to escalate behaviors to like aggression and hitting, and neither care partner wants that. If this video was helpful for you, please like and subscribe so that you are notified when we post new videos. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and please sign up for our newsletter so that you're going to get more in-depth tips about dementia care and brain health, and information about working with me if you need help with dementia care.